Okay, Gary's here, Scott's here. The rumors have been flying. We're here to separate fact from fiction. We've got Gary here from Spartan Race. We'll get his title later because it always changes. We've got Scott here from the I Am a Spartan podcast, who will
What
be
up?
mostly affected by this. Him and his age group maniacs out there will be excited, I think, to hear the news. Gary, what's the first bit of good news you want to share with us?
Yeah, so going back to elite and age group, we're excited for that. Scott looks not so excited, but not a complete change of pace.
It depends.
Depends, yeah. So you can still race with whoever you want within age group. So we're not going to go back to the heat separated by age group. That was one thing we talked about and we discussed and talked with a lot of people. And I know there's going to be comments that says, "Oh, they didn't talk to me." No, I've not talked to every single age grouper in the world, but we talked to probably a couple hundred, at races, on Discord, through Instagram. One thing that people really, really liked was being able to run with friends and family and not having to just run with that kind of narrow banded of age group. So still doing the choose your start time. So if you all want to run at 8:15 and you want to run with someone at a different age group, gender, whatever the case is, that is going to stay. Mixed age groups are here. That was, I think, the one thing that we saw successful from this year and the changes that were kind of made. But unfortunately, overall, we just saw a big decline in the competitive heat while seeing, I think really big increases in overall numbers. Matt, you did some reporting yourself on that. And, there's lots of increases across the board, but age group and elite or pro, however you want to call it, suffered. And I think it was just some confusion from people. That word competitive, that word pro, I think confused people, maybe scared some people away. And so just going back to the nomenclature, that has worked well for us over the last, few years. That's the big change. Scott, your face says a lot, but
I just have questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you're saying we're going to go back to age group heats. So how is the heat system going to work? Is it multiple heats, one big heat? How is it going to work?
Yep, still going to be going off in multiple heats. Age group will probably, comprise of 4 heats, assuming that the numbers come back and we get the registrations that make sense for us to keep 4 heats that way. Basically, the big difference is just rather than that first heat at, say, 7:30 being, 14 to 19, it's going to be whoever signs up for that first heat. So age groups, still same 10 age groups. Awards are still within those 10 age groups, but you do not have to run with that age group, because I think that was the one big success we saw this year, was that, mixed people. We see, again, family members, husband and wife, brother and sister, that type of thing, that want to run together, or even just friends that you've made over the years. And so we wanted to keep that there. I just think, unfortunately, a lot of the other changes we made fell flat, and no one's fault. Chris made those changes and unfortunately stepped away from the company, so he couldn't see the vision through. And so we just talked to a lot of people. We talked to age groups, elites, and just the numbers themselves spoke for it. It wasn't an overall hit for us. So just kind of going back to, we know what worked for us in prior years.
So in other words, there's going to be, let's just say there's going to be 4 more or less competitive heats in the morning. You can pick any of those heats that you want to, and it'll be top 3 fastest times of those 4 heats, and then they'll award age groups within.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. The top 3 fastest within those 4 heats are your 3 age group winners. We are separating out. There's no more pro category. It's going back to elite. So elite will have its own start time. If you want to run elite, you want to compete for, the elite awards, all that will be separated. And so I just think, racers are looking for that for the most part. I know some people are going to be disappointed because you could have ran for age group, and if you miss the top 3 podium, you still get your age group there. But we think in order to grow the sport, it's just 2 different types of racers, right? Your elite racers who are going after prize money, who are trying to make a living out of this, or supplement a living out of this, are just a different group of racers for the most part than age groupers.
But so is that first wave going to be awarded age group in the age group division 2, or is it a split division again?
Split division. Yep. So we will have an elite heat to start the morning off with, and then 4 age group heats after that.
So it's basically back to the same way it was before last year, but you're just not going to stagger. You're not going to keep each age group in each age group.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So we keep the mixed heats. I think that was the one thing that really worked well this year. And just kind of going back to everything else that we did previously.
Hang on, guys. 1 second. This thing keeps cutting in and out, and it's super annoying. I'm gonna hop out again. Don't say anything you don't want recorded, because I'm gonna. Don't give me more work to do later. Is what I'm trying to say. But I'm gonna have to log out and log right back in. Just stand by.
We're back. To recap, elite waves are returning. If you would like elite prizes and qualify for the elite, what will be national and continental and world championships, that's the race for you, correct?
Correct.
Age group racing will be awarded for everybody else that isn't elite and isn't open. The only difference is, instead of, hey, everybody 45 to 49, you're racing at this time, you can race whenever you want. And I think this does solve pretty much all the problem. A problem that you never want to have is first of the day across the line doesn't win. And we started to see that on the elite side, right? Age group, it's okay, because it's always, that's how it is in every race. You're not always running with the people you're running next to. Marathon, 5K, Spartan race, you see where you finished, and then you wait. You're like, let's give it a little bit, right? So you might finish faster than a 45-year-old, but they might have started a little behind you. But that's okay, because we're kind of used to that.
But
what I would think is going to happen, Scott, is those of you that care, you tell me if this works in reality, you talk to each other. When are you guys all racing? Let's try to race together and kind of fight it out, right? So you and all the guys you battle with, won't you guys say like, hey, when are you picking? Let's all pick 8, or let's all pick 8:15.
See, if we're going to do this, I'd rather it just go back to the way it was before last year, because if everybody in 40 to 44, if I'm honestly just out there to get my age group award, I want to be in the heat where everybody's in there. That
but
way
they
I
mostly
know.
will be, though. They mostly will be, don't you think?
If there's not a set age group wave time, no, they won't be.
Well,
They'll probably
Wendy,
try. Most people are probably, what's going to happen here is the people that are racing for age group medal, they're going to get in that first wave right after the elite wave goes out, because they want to be first out, less traffic. Let's
There you
just be
go.
honest. But if you're set to, 40s start at this time, everybody in the 40s is there, everything's fine and dandy, and it'll work fine. But I just feel like I like it better the way it is this year. The only thing that's not working with this year is people aren't owning the seed time, but it still works, because the people that are in the higher, getting closer to placing in their age group, or placing top 3 overall, are getting into that.
But you just said you guys are all going to race as soon as you can anyway. So it's going to be that in practicality anyway.
So, and that's my point. So
But
why have multiple age
make a
group
new
waves?
person? But why make a new person who wants to do this go through this thing that's more intimidating? And I don't know who I'm supposed, like, just let them go when they want, and they just they know they're not open, so they pick age group because that makes sense to them.
That's fine. But if you're starting in a wave where I know everybody in this wave is in their 40s, you know who your competitors are. If you're fighting for age group podiums, and then that's what you care about.
But again, that's not how the real world works. When I'm in any race, when I'm in any race in the world, right? I kind of try to see who's my age group, but I don't know whether it's 5K with 100 people or Peachtree Marathon, Peachtree Roaders with 40,000. You don't know, so you look at the board and then you wait a little bit. What's the big fucking deal?
Exactly. So why have an elite wave in front of it? Why can't we just all run on chip time?
I think the issue that we have is when we got to the championships, right? We divided it back to pro and age group, or so we split it up. So there was confusion in that, and it made no sense at that point. But I think if we were to go to a world championship like Abu Dhabi and do top 3 become your elite champions and the rest become age group champions, now all those age group spots, right, are taken up by who are typically elite racers. So we had to split it up, because otherwise, I think your age group championships now become a much bigger concern. And there was just a lot of confusion. I think people, like you said yourself, the people that have been doing this for many, many years probably know what the deal is, but new people, which is the lifeblood of Spartan or any OCR, it just became such a confusion. And we saw an instant drop in this category, whether it was confusion, dislike for the changes, or whatever, once we made these changes. So the hope here is really bring the sport back Obviously, we're trying to build elite. We've had issues with prize money. That's no shock to anybody, but we are.
What?
I know, surprise, but we are much, much better this year than we were last year. And we're continuing every month to kind of make inroads to this. So we do hope that prize money is back to a normal pay period by the end of the year, and that we can continue to grow the sport again in 2025, which I think, I don't want to say we took a step back, but we took a step back number wise in 2024. So we're just looking to rebuild that and go back to what worked for us. Elite and age group worked for many years.
I think maybe a cause of the reasons, and this is not a complaint because I'd rather it be this way. I think a drop in the competitive waves were, yes, last year, and especially for the series, was because you had a Lula the same day as the first race. And there was no payouts for any races this year, which I don't have a problem with that. I think they'd do better to just give away prizes, give away a free race. And that way, Spartan isn't losing money, just give away prizes. I think it would be better that way. And just that way you have the people out there that are racing because they love the race, not because I'm going to get paid.
I'm going to put,
but I like it better the way it is, because right now it's an honest race for everybody. Everybody's running a chip time. And that's what it said when you toe the line. It's a chip time. If you think that you're third place when you cross the line, then you misunderstood the rule. And if you're upset because you got knocked off of the podium, that is nobody's fault but yours. And I understand some people have had grievances with other people because of that. And it's ridiculous because it's a chip timed race. And you need to understand that. I think that's why it's better.
We've become
because
a debate
what's going
show.
to happen. What's going to happen next year is you're going to have small elite waves again, and a lot of people are going to be in age group. And I thought that's what they wanted to get away from in 2023. Am I wrong?
Let me jump in. Because I got a couple things. First of all, if you get beat by somebody behind you, no, you shouldn't be mad. But should a race ever be decided not by the gun? No, because that's just dumb, right? That's like the whole penalties on penalties, right? It's like, you got to have first across the line be the winners. To me, that's just any sport, any race, right? Unless like grievance penalty, like DQ or miss what do you call it? Roughing the passer. What do we call it? Unsportsmanlike contact.
Well,
Jocelyn.
Doesn't OCRWC do it in waves in chip time?
Yeah, but the elite wave doesn't. It's impossible. If you're not the first across the line, you don't win. Period. For the elite waves.
Oh.
And then the age groups go together, just like years went. But the other point was, like, before I forget,
when you've got a race where they're taking in concern backups for obstacles, and you start in waves, and it's by chip time. That should be the understanding.
I just think you're going to be fine. I think you're going to be racing with each other, and there won't even be a problem come like the first few weeks of the race. To me, it's best of both worlds, because again, you don't always do everything for the open waiver, and you don't always do everything for the hardcore age group. You've got to find a nice balance, and I think this does that. But here's what I want to say.
I think this year was the balance myself, because if somebody that is scared to move up to,
he's just telling you the numbers dropped. He's telling you it didn't work.
But I think there's more factors than just them changing it. I think that if they stuck to the way they're doing it now, they would see it grow. They're only giving it 1 year. They're not even halfway through this year, or they're barely halfway through this year, and they're already changing it. Why not give it another year or no? Maybe change the way it seeds, but
how about I be a shill for Spartan for once and say they're actually planning for next year, which we always give them a hard time for, right? Like in December, we find out what the fucking series is. I'm for once like thrilled that they're planning ahead. So let me get to this point before I forget it. Gosh darn it. And that is this, Gary. I'm going to put you on the spot. First of all, very, very professional of you to say, hey, it's nobody's fault. I'm here to say, you had a guy make a bunch of changes and that guy left. I don't think those were good things. I think he is the person to blame. And guy I know personally, I've worked with for 10 years, would tell him this to his face. And somewhere above him, there should have been some oversight. I've said all this before, but I just can't have you on here and not say anything. So there you go. Some bad choices were made. They're being fixed. Fantastic. Back to this point about what we've said. If you're going to get rid of money, why not at least give people a free race, right? And you might say, Matt, that's when you think it's not a lot, but you add it up, that's $400,000 of revenue we could have been making. So I believe that. How about, do you remember once upon a time, Gary, we, as in like me,
I mean, it
you,
could
some
be a
other
merch
people,
credit.
I don't even think that. I think that gets more complicated. It doesn't work. The code doesn't work, whatever. They forget. I want to get 3 socks in 3 years, whatever. But if you
Sounds like
just,
Matt should start his own race.
what if you did a, remember when you first knocked down the money and you're like, look, we're not going to give you money to every single race. It's going to be these Saturday races. What if it was that? It was like, listen, we know we suck at prize money. Everybody in the podium, not age group, everybody in the elite podium gets a free race at these 15 races a year. And like, then they show up, they get something. What about that, Gary? Put you on the spot.
No, it doesn't put me on the spot because I'll just say we can put that in the parking lot. Run that up the flagpole.
Can you put a pin in it?
We're gonna put a pin in it. No, I mean that might be something. Obviously a lot of these elite racers, especially without the prize money, are looking to not incur costs when they do that. So yeah, I mean, real answer, yeah, let's put a pin in it. Something that we can propose as we go through these changes. I do hate the fact that we're in 30 minutes and we've gotten through one change here, Matt, but I think we knew that was going to happen. And I think we had a lot more exciting changes because Scott brought up a good point, right? The series last year, one of the major changes that was made was every race is mandatory. Here in the US, it was a 3-race series, even though we have close to 60 races. And the first race, unfortunately, was scheduled on top of a big prize money event. So change number 2, which is much more exciting. No more mandatory every event.
Yay!
So it's exciting. We will be going to a 4-race series for the elites, so a little bit bigger. Can't announce any of the events yet, but
I thought we were going to wait on this announcement on this podcast for this specific reason.
To announce the specific races, no.
Oh, we can't. Okay, so it's too soon.
No. But we can make some of the announcements of the big changes. So, and I think you have a saying here about the home of OCR. We'll just leave it at that.
I meant to take a picture. Did I send it to you guys?
Mr. Chubb's wings.
Yeah, I saw
Mr.
another.
Chubby's.
I saw another Mr. Chubb's in Georgia, and I was like, maybe it's a chain. And so I meant to take a picture, but
I don't think that can be. I don't think you can chain Mr. Chubby's.
I don't think so either. But that's exciting if that's hypothetically one of the destinations, and the other four, we could probably guess at least 2 of them, right? Probably the audience, if you know your history, we won't say anything else more than that, though, right? Probably.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on.
But moving on, even more exciting news.
Best three or four.
Best 3 or 4 for the elites. Age group, which is going to be something new for us. We're going to do 2 separate series, an East Coast and the West Coast. So they will both be 3-race series. We're going to do top 2 out of 3 of each of them. And so I think this is one of the issues we saw, right? We were expecting our age group racers to travel across the country, mandatory all 3 races. And the numbers suffered. I think we had a total of like 40 podium spots instead of 60 because some age groups only had like 1 person that did all 3 events. So I think that's exciting news. I know there's going to be complaints to why we didn't do a, East Coast, Northeast series, this series, that series. It's a start, right? If this is successful and we see larger numbers, we can look at 3, 4, 5 different age group series in the US next year. But I mean, in 2026, just hard to say. But for next year, we will have 2 separate age group series, 1 East Coast based, 1 West Coast based, and 2 out of 3 for both of those. So excited for that. I think it's great to, again, put a little bit more focus on the age group. It's separating elite and age group, giving them their own series. Some races will overlap. Yes, some will not. But they are going to be 2 also sort of unique series. Both have a little different focus. So excited for that.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's great. Scott says that's cool on really good news. And then for 30 minutes, shits on me for the other news.
It's not. Cool. It's not that.
Can you just give me a little bit more? It's supposed to be really cool.
I mean, I enjoy. I'm the old school Spartan racer. I enjoy having the big wave of everybody out, racing against each other in the first, second wave. It doesn't matter. I just like us all. I like us all being measured up against each other at the end of the race. Whether chip time, gun time, who cares about that? That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, everybody knows if you've been running age group for years anyway, you know it's down to the second anyway, because you're trying to beat the other age groups as well, not just your own. We've been racing on chip time for years. I mean, even if you're running in the elite wave and then you're in the back of the box, your time may be faster than somebody, but in that race, the gun time rules. And I just because some people were complaining about gun time, if it's said at the beginning, it's a chip time race.
That's not why
that should be it.
That's not
Yeah,
why
I don't
they're
think.
doing it.
Yeah, I didn't hear any complaints about that. I mean, I know there's some people in the beginning kind of complained about that, but I think we settled into that a little bit. I just think the issue
You
we
get the
ran
best of
into was a
both.
lot of confusion.
Yeah, I think you get the best of both, Scott. I think you will be racing with your friends.
I disagree. I mean, I'll be racing with my friends either way, but I like racing with everybody. I like the results being one list, not a list of you got these over here and then you got these over here. I just think it's when people race competitively at Spartan Race, they want to be compared against everybody that shows up.
Let's hop back on after the first few races of the year. Let's hop on in the spring and we'll see how it went and we'll see where we're at. Let's go back to this. This is a big deal that you just kind of ran right over, Scott. You're okay. That's cool. I do think it's a big deal.
I know that I'm talking for these people that do these races.
And
I'm an age group racer. I'm a competitive racer. I'm not even going to say I'm an age group racer. I'm out there competitively racing, and everybody likes the way we're doing it this year. The only problem we had this year was the problem with, the seating. People, getting in the waves they weren't supposed to, and that happened from the very first race. And there may be a misunderstanding there, but it's still working fine. I just think it's working good.
I believe you. Now, can these people you're speaking for be excited that they get two different chances to have an age group series so they can stick to their side of the country?
That's great. I mean, if we're going this route, I'm sure people that run age group will love that, because a lot of Gary is exactly right. Everybody didn't want to fly to all 4 races or 3 races because they couldn't afford it, or either they had something going on and they couldn't make one race. So, I mean, that's definitely great news, but the separation of the division is the only thing I don't like. That's okay.
Yeah. Anytime I have to fly to the Pacific timeline or even Mountain is such a bummer because that's like an extra day. I fucking hate it. So I will almost never go there unless it's.
Hey, I'm almost 200 races in, and I've never flown to one of those races. So,
really?
Yeah. Texas is the farthest west I've ever gone.
That's impressive. Maybe you should put that on your IG. Most Spartans east of the Mississippi, because people love to say they have the most. I have 200 mutters, but I have 700 on Saturdays or whatever. Maybe you should. People love a podium.
That's a good idea.
Can we talk about
where the Mississippi
Gary?
Is?
What's that?
Have you looked at a map recently? I don't think the Mississippi's on the other side of Texas. I think your geography is a little off there.
All right, but we will take out the Texas ones. He still has the most. Shut up, Gary.
Gary.
What about
Matt's just being a dick?
Will they have fun names? I know this year, for example, you had like John Bleakley Ford New England race. Will they be sponsored?
That was 2023. We had the Ford New England series.
It's been a year already.
That was the 2023 series.
Jesus.
Yeah. Hopefully, do you know like a coffee company that wants to buy the rights to one of these, Matt?
That's a great question. We should ask either Resolute or Long Run or this guy that just messaged me on Instagram. Black Rifle. There you go.
Yeah, we obviously that's part of the appeal to us from the Spartan side of things to split this up into smaller series and maybe a little bit more regionalized. It allows a different partnership potential there. But that's coming hopefully in the future. And talking about that, we also have the Honor Series, which we're going to put a little bit more focus on. I know in the past couple of years, the Honor Series has kind of just been a special medal at some of these events. So we're working to make that a little bit more of a product on its own. Still awesome. Some really cool medals, a really awesome ultra medal. Again, I think this year's ultra medal for the Honor Series was really popular. So similar medals with that. Yeah. And
all the medals this year were great. No doubt.
Yeah. I'm excited for 2025's medals. I've seen some renderings. I think they're going to be probably the best that we've had personally. So I'm excited for those. But yeah, so another series there too. But again, focusing on just, not military, not just military, but first responders too, because I think the honor series, it's important to honor both of those guys.
I want to quickly go back to the New England series. I got some
Yes.
potential sponsors for you. Are you ready?
Okay. Well, we don't have a New England series this year. It's East Coast.
All right. I'm going to go, but this is what I'm going with. Okay.
Is it going to be Duncan?
Choice 1, friendlies.
Okay.
Choice 2, market baskets.
Okay.
Market
Grocery
basket.
store.
Okay.
Market basket.
This is the one I'm going for. Papa Gino's.
Good old Papa Gino's.
Of course, Duncan.
Duncan.
But people would be mad if I said them first.
But we would expect.
How about Tucci's?
Bartucci's? Is that what you said? You broke up there.
Have you ever been to Bertucci's?
I've never heard of it. What is that?
No, Scott hasn't heard of any of these, I bet. That's what's so great. These are all New England
I've heard of
restaurants.
Market
Hang on,
Basket and Friendly's.
Stop and Shop?
I've heard of that.
Dude, Kelly's Roast Beef.
That I've not heard of.
The 99 Restaurant.
99, yeah. It's good cheap
I'm going to
steak.
keep going. I'm almost done. There's a few I haven't even heard of. Weather Vane. Have you heard of Weather Vane?
Third clothing store, yep.
How about Skips?
I've got a vein for you.
Yips, I haven't not. No.
How about Marg's?
No.
It's a margarita place.
This is the part that Seb is going to say to skip.
Exactly.
Seb, we apologize
Guys,
in advance.
Matt talked about breweries and random restaurants for 8 minutes. This is bullshit.
Skip this section.
Seb, I've been podcasting since 2012. I've never stayed on point for 30 minutes straight. Get used to it. All right, Gary. I'll name my West Coast choices. Or you know what, guys? Gary, let's make a poll. Who should sponsor the West Coast? Should it be A, Whataburger, B, In-N-Out,
Buc-ee's.
C, what's another West Coast chain?
Ooh, Buc-ee's, yeah. I'm going to go with In-N-Out, Matt.
Nominate your favorite West Coast chains, and we will get you a sponsorship.
Gary, did you have any other news you wanted to tell us about today?
Yeah, pace groups are going away. Pro bands are going away. We're just trying to simplify things. I think that was I think your point is spot on, right? Not that necessarily people didn't like the format, but I think it was super confusing. And it was super. I don't want to say super. It was intimidating, right? There's a checkbox that says like, if you choose the wrong pace group, we're going to track you down and kick your dog.
Yeah.
That was scary for new people coming in sometimes. And we've seen it like on the post, like I want to run with my friends, but we run different paces. Or like myself, I run a 21-minute 5K, but I'm not going to run that in Vermont, hills and mountains. It's much different than that. So
Yeah, I think that was the only thing about the way they did it this year was just the seating and the way they had the requirement times in there. Because whoever come up with that super time there ain't many people that can run the super qualifying time for Heat 1.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, but it was fun, just all of us being on the line.
Are you gonna? How many more times are you gonna say it though, dude? I mean, we've covered it. You've said it.
Gary just brought it up, Matt.
Should we get like someone different on here? Like Steve? Can we get Steve Hammond on here? He'll appreciate these changes.
What else, Gary, do you got for us? And by the way, just so I know, these are going out Monday.
Monday, yeah. I can't tell you what time, but Monday the announcement, not the series. So series will be coming out later in October, which is still early for Spartan, I think.
So I can't air this podcast next week? Is that
No, you can air the podcast because we haven't named the series, as you have once again frozen, Matt.
Yeah, way to go, Matt.
Your big, stupid, fat head just too close to the camera.
When we quit recording, can you tell us what the locations are, Gary?
Oh, there you are. You're back, Matt.
There's Matt.
I said, so I can't air this next week?
You can, because I didn't say what locations are. Yeah, we're just not naming the locations. The series are we're good with that. As you're
all going to be announced Monday.
The the fact that we're going back to elite, the fact that we have an elite series, honors series, age group series. Yep, that will all be announced Monday. But the specifics of the dates, the events, locations, distances, that'll be like mid-October.
So
got it.
Do y'all know what races are going to be the honor series already too?
Yeah, we have those all kind of picked out. So
Sweet.
Yeah, we're excited. We got a lot more planned ahead of time this year. And I think every year we've been getting better. We're not announcing series the year that they're happening anymore. And, we just keep locking these things in a little bit earlier and making things happen there. And then, hopefully all the championships we're close to having those locked in and announced too. So obviously trifecta coming to West Virginia is exciting, I think.
Will you be there, Scott?
I may. Oh, Scott, I don't know.
Will you
Where?
go to Trifecta World West Virginia for the Trifecta World Champs?
I will be there, but I have a curiosity because it's a couple of weeks later than it usually is. How close is it going to be to Killington Ultra next year? They haven't put out a date for that because Killington hasn't happened yet. But I'm kind of curious how close those races are going to be.
Vermont might be open this week, I believe,
Right.
or next week. So you'll see those dates soon.
Okay.
That's a good question. We pushed it back a little bit just to not sit on some other championships and races.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's always a shell game, right? It's if you move one event, you sometimes have to move 4 or 5 more. I don't think people realize like the trailer lanes as we go through it and, you know, where they're coming from and where they go. So little shifts make a big difference across the board. But, you know,
it may be too earlier for you to speak on this, but I know a lot of people who go to Sparta and do the Trifecta World Championships over there. They have a lot of concerns about how this event is going to be, you know, in West Virginia, because over there it's a huge major spectacle of an event. And I know a lot of people are curious if it's going to be made that in West Virginia.
Yeah, that's the absolute plan here. So, you know, Sparta usually ends up being about 50% Americans. And we know that we've shifted a lot of championships out of America. So this was a good way for us to, you know, bring something back to the States. Yeah, we didn't either, you know, or at least me personally. Obviously, the people looking at the numbers did, and that's why this decision was made. So bringing a championship back to the States, but kind of alternating it. We're definitely not leaving Sparta. We'll be back in 2026. And the goal is to kind of alternate back and forth between the years just to, I think, elevate Sparta even more and maybe give people a full 2-year chance to kind of save for it, right? So, it's not every year. It's 2 years from now. It gives you a little bit more of an opportunity. But to answer your question, yeah, I mean, West Virginia, even though West Virginia has a little bit of a reputation, I think the Boy Scout camp where it's at, it's not like a rugged camping site, right? Like this is a state of the art. They bring their jamboree there. I think it's every 2 or every 4
awesome
years.
Venue. Love
yeah, you know, it's an amazing venue and gives us the opportunity to build something up. You know, will it ever fully match Sparta? It's hard to say because obviously you're in that town.
Yeah.
You have all the stuff there, but the opportunity to elevate it to do bigger things than a normal trifecta weekend is 100% on our mind and 100% what we're working towards and why we picked this venue. You know, the state tourism board is behind us, backing us, helping us with some of this stuff. And we do really think that we can build it into a world-class event that, you know, some ways matches Sparta. So it's always hard because Sparta has that special something to it that you can't replicate anywhere else. But to make it an elevated event, yes, 100%, that is our plan.
Yeah, because West Virginia has always been an awesome venue for the series championship races. They've been there. I've done that race every year since it started, so I'm very excited for Trifecta Championships coming.
Yeah, I love that venue. One year where me and VJ were the rabbits for the live coverage, and yeah, it was great to be out there. And like I said, it's just you hear West Virginia, you hear Boy Scout camp, and sometimes you think like just this rugged backwoods type thing, but it's very much not. You know, this Boy Scout camp is a multi-million dollar facility and very top notch. So we're excited, and I think it just gives us a chance to do a lot of fun stuff here in the U.S. that, you know, we've been able to do in Sparta over the years.
Will it be staged the same way that they do it at Spartan? Because don't they do the Beast on Sunday over there?
Yep. Yeah. So the Beast will be on Sunday. Still working through the exact logistics. I know they do staggered heats similar to, I guess, like the Tour de France, where the winner goes off, you know, ahead of time. We just have to look at it because, you know, number wise, we'll get many more racers than they would have over in Sparta. So we can't replicate exactly what they do, but we are looking to keep it as tried and true to that event as it has been over the years and just kind of pay honor to what they built over there in Greece.
That's awesome. That'll make the event unique in itself at that point.
Yeah, the Vermont event is usually that 14th, 16th. It's been like the 10th or 11th. I just kind of looked at the past few years. And then, yeah, that West Virginia weekend's always been the same. So it's easy, I know, for y'all to, like, as soon as the event's over, boom, put it on sale. Like, the Conyers event here has been like March 12th every year for 10 years.
No, but what I was saying is West Virginia is usually the last weekend of August, and next year it's the first weekend of September. So
yeah, we pushed it
okay.
back a week
if
or so.
Killington is typically the weekend you're talking about a week turnaround instead of 2 weeks turnaround.
I hear what you're saying. But you'll do both because that's your true honk, right?
Well, I'll probably do both, but I definitely wouldn't go all out at West Virginia if I'm planning on doing the Ultra at Killington. You don't want to jeopardize Killington Ultra that way.
Well, some might think the other way. Some be like, hey, man,
absolutely.
I'm going to shoot my shot.
I mean, it depends on what you want to call your A race, but it's kind of hard to take Killington serious if you don't make it an A race. You know
All right.
that.
I do know. I was saying, West Virginia is actually a venue I haven't been to. I have not been to that one.
You've never been to West Virginia?
I've never been to that one, and I've never been to Palmerton. Two big Spartan races I've not been to.
I thought you were there the year we had the championship series race.
Was I? We had it there a couple times, I thought.
Yeah. I thought you were there one year. Maybe not.
I remember watching it. I feel like the first year, I was watching it live, and it was what's her name's Rebecca Hammond's like second race ever, and it was like she's the second place woman. We were losing our minds.
Yeah. You're right.
I don't think I've ever been there. So Gary, we got two age group championships. We got getting rid of seeding. We got honor series. What else we got?
Some new venues, right? I don't know if we fully announced some stuff, but there's some new stuff out on the website.
Can you tell us the new venues?
I believe that there's a second weekend in Seattle, which is exciting. I believe Boise, which we've been to in the past, but coming back to Boise, and then Orlando.
Boise, it looks like you're at 8-2, and Orlando on 11-8.
Yep, I believe those are.
Is that like?
That's not going to be a city race, is it?
No, I don't think
like they've done in the past.
No, well, I wish it was personally through Disney, but that's just
so
me.
Far. It's just a sprint. Boise's a trifecta.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Boise, I think 19 trifectas next year, I believe, in the U.S. So even more.
That's awesome.
Boise, you haven't been to since like 2018 or 19.
Yeah, it's been a few years for Boise. So yeah, we're looking to, now that we are, back from COVID. Hate to say that, but the numbers are trending up. We're looking at some of these old venues that we used to do well in, and we just cut, recently because of, trying to really fully recover from all this. And so, so we're excited about those new venues. And 19 trifectas. It's crazy to think, like, Scott, Matt, you guys have been racing for years. Like, we used to have one, right? You had West Virginia, and that was it across the U.S. And then slowly just giving more opportunities to racers to, really hit these trifectas and trifecta numbers that we're seeing year over year.
Best
idea. My first trifecta was Georgia Sprint, Miami Super, Killington Beast. Like,
mine was
up and down the entire country to get your trifecta.
Yep, New England, back in old Amesbury, that fun venue. Went to New Jersey, where we had a 13-mile super that year in 2012, and then finished up in Vermont because that was, closest to me. But even all those, it was 10, 15 hours driving.
How about the first Spartan north of the wall in 5 years? How about that one that got announced today?
Yeah, that's Finland, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Event. Yeah,
that's cool.
Was it just like a government thing, or it's just hard to put it on in super cold weather? Or
I mean, I think it's a lot of different things, right? Like, I don't know the population of Finland. I'm going to assume it's maybe not as dense as some other areas, and not as easy necessarily to get to as some of the other places. So I think that's part of it, but it should be an exciting event. I know I've looked at some of the pictures from there, and it looks awesome. And obviously Sweden and Iceland were all really amazing looking events when we had the Ultra World Championships there.
Gary, is there any new ultras that you know of in the U.S. next year?
Oh, good question. No, I don't know offhand. I feel like there is, but I know that. I'm trying to think offhand. I don't offhand. Matt can tell us. He's got the whole thing up.
Well, first of all, if you're a fan of ultras, why not get yourself a Tough Mudder Infinity or a Toughest? There's a bunch of those, Scott.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing the Infinity in Atlanta next.
Will you be at WTM, Scott?
Absolutely. It's some capacity. I haven't been running since Fayetteville, not like seriously running. So it's going to be a slow walk and jog and just more or less just having fun since I've already paid for it.
Okay,
Yeah,
first
I'm
one,
torn.
first
ahead,
one I
Matt.
found is May, Ohio. For you complainers of the Midwest, you got an Ohio trifecta weekend that includes an ultra. That's one.
Yeah, I
Let's see what
think
else we get.
didn't they have that one in Ohio last year, or was that year before last? We need one in Conyers. Conyers needs an ultra. That would be awesome.
I feel like that's it. Is that possible?
This
Because
is compelling, Matt.
the trifecta numbers were really good for Conyers, weren't they, Gary?
Yeah, Atlanta's always one of our more popular events.
That's why we need an ultra there.
All about the ultras. Yeah, it's amazing to see. I mean, geez, I remember like the first ultras, there was 100 of us, right, would line up, and now we're getting like 1,000 sometimes at some of these ultras. It's amazing to see. And then even the Ultra World Championship this year in Morzine was massive. It was so amazing to see that.
I bet that was a cool event.
It was so beautiful. It was amazing, the mountain, the town, and all that. So it was very reminiscent of some of the ones we've done here, like Tahoe and Telluride, with that just kind of village feeling.
Gary, would you count the Blood Route Ultra?
I mean, I love the Blood Route Ultra. 10-mile loops on Joe's farm to get in 100 miles with, I think, like 25,000 feet of gain.
Is that still a peak series race?
Yeah. And Matt, once again, frozen.
So, Gary,
is that possible? That's only Ohio so far?
No, I don't think you're reading that right.
Gary, so one thing on the waves for the age group waves, is there going to be like a cap on each wave so it's first come, first serve, more or less?
Yep.
Okay. And what, like 200, 250 per wave?
250 to 300, depending on the location. Sometimes
Right.
we have events where it just very quickly goes to like
an
a single
obstacle or
track.
whatever.
Yeah, single track, that type of stuff where we know we can't necessarily throw in that many people. So
That's awesome that y'all take that into accord,
yeah, I mean, obviously it's hard to say. No, Matt, we have San Jose, New Jersey, Fayetteville, Ohio, Colorado
All next
Springs,
year? Why weren't those coming up on my list, dude?
Cincinnati, Hawaii.
Are you
Those
looking
the
at
ones so
this
far.
this year or 25, Gary?
25, Matt.
Those are already.
Yeah, they're open already. I'm on Spartan.com. There's a big button that says find a race, and then ultra, and here we are.
Well, maybe this list I'm looking at is broken.
Maybe you're broken.
I'm gonna fix it later.
Maybe you need to refresh your browser history.
What else you want to talk about, Matt? I feel like this was not as off the rails as it normally is. Having Scott here, it's really kept you centered.
He'd be filling it with other stuff if I wasn't here. You're welcome.
Yeah. He's still trying to figure out how to use the internet.
Gary, name those cities again. Sorry.
I believe it starts off with San Jose, April 5th, and then it goes to Tri-State, New Jersey. Yeah, April 26th.
Typically.
Fayetteville, May 3rd. Ohio, May 17th. Colorado Springs, May 31st.
All right, fine. I sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. God.
Cincy, June 7th. Hawaii.
A lot of ultras.
A lot of ultras, yeah. Those have increased too. We used to have one or two of those. So
Yep. I remember when New Jersey was the easiest ultra. That was when I started. I did New Jersey Ultra 2016 was the first year of that ultra, and that was the first ultra I ever did.
Yep.
I think at that time, all there was Tahoe and Killington.
Dallas definitely, because I did Dallas.
How old is
2016.
So Dallas was
ultra at least 2016. Yeah, I did that with my son. He was 16.
No, the
at the time.
first ones were
the first one.
The first ones were Killington, then Hawaii, then
Tahoe,
and then they started going everywhere.
Gary, I was asked a question the other day, and it was, why are they not going to Tahoe for races?
Yeah, it was just such an issue, right? With like weather and then fire, and then
I knew that one got canceled because of the weather.
Yeah, I think we canceled 2 or 3 years in a row.
Oh, really?
Between one year we had the forest fires, another year was the snow, and then obviously COVID hit. I think there was quite a period, and even some. I mean, I remember being there for the World Championship, and I want to say 16, and a blizzard just came through where like you couldn't see your hand in front of you. So just time of the year, weather. I think they're still doing construction on parts of the mountain and stuff like that. So amazing venue. We love them. We had a great relationship with Tahoe and that. But yeah, weather was just really, really hard. It's it could snow all the way up until May there, and it could start snowing in August.
So next year, are we still going to continue with the 7 o'clock start times, or are we going to go back to 7:30?
Nah,
Still
7
7 o'clock.
7.
So
Yeah,
early. So
racers love
early.
to get out there.
It is early, especially when time changes. Because in Conyers, we needed a headlamp, and I did not start with one, and it sucked.
Yeah, we
I
obviously
personally don't
most
like
people
racing
want to
that
start
early.
as early as possible. And it's a snowball effect, right? If we start elites at 7:30, then Open's not starting till 9:30, 10 o'clock. Sometimes.
No, I get it. Listen, you got a lot of people who get through the race. I
Right.
get it. I'm not a fan. I never.
Well,
raced
good thing you're not an elite racer, Matt. You don't have to
exactly.
run 7.
I'm not. I'm thrilled.
That was my only complaint is going from, I usually started at, what was it, like 8:15, and then I had to go to 7, and I was like, shit, I got to lose more sleep now. But overall, I mean, it was still enjoyable year. I know, and it sucks because I hadn't been able to race competitively half the year. So, and now they're going to change it again. Man, I was about to ask something.
All right. Is there any? Oh, you want to ask one more question?
Yeah, but I lost it.
Then we got to wrap it up.
Yeah. What were you saying, Matt? Because you once again
froze.
froze. No, you froze.
You guys froze.
You froze.
I said, did you have one more question, Scott?
No, you froze.
No, Scott forgot his question.
I forgot it.
All right, let's wrap it up. Listen, Gary, thank you for coming on. This will air on. Do you tell me Monday I can put it up?
Monday afternoon.
Okay, you'll get back.
Just wait for Spartan's post.
Just wait for what?
Just wait for Spartan to post about the changes, and then you're in the clear.
All right, go listen to Scott's I Am a Spartan. Who do you got on lately, Scott?
Well, we did a recap of West Virginia a little late, and we talked about I had somebody on to talk about the para event that's coming to Dalton, Georgia. So I don't have anything really planned in the future.
All right. Well, you can catch me. I'm going to the UK next week for a hybrid event, and then I'm going to Croatia for the Spartan $100,000 100-meter and sprint championship. We have many top athletes from around the world, including Superwoman herself. Jessie Graff will be there, so don't miss it.
It was a great time to freeze, Matt. Right when you said
Right.
including, it was perfect.
Jessie Graff.
Just made it more of a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
Jessie Graff. All right, stop.
that's exciting.